Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining the Link family for the Aging and Elderly series. We are now in session 5, and it's been a great time since we started about 5 weeks ago. So big thank you for joining us and staying with us. We're going all the way to session 12. Feel free to invite your friends and family. And we are discussing a very important topic today, polypharmacy in the elderly. And we have no better person than a pharmacist who is going to be talking us through what polypharmacy in the elderly means. And I'll just introduce him very briefly. Just a bit of housekeeping. Kindly keep yourself muted unless it's time to speak. And when it's time for questions, kindly use the icon to raise your hands, and you'll see the icons that you can also use to clap for the speaker and to show some love. Okay, so I'll just be going through the introduction for our speaker just now, and apologies for starting a bit late. Yes, so pharmacist, I'll just put him on the screen while I introduce him. Okay. Yes, so pharmacist Obindo Oladele David is a seasoned healthcare professional, entrepreneur, leadership trainer, and pastor in charge of Jesus Paradise Zone, RCCG. Renowned for blending pharmaceutical expertise with compassionate leadership, he has built influence across healthcare, business development, wellness advocacy, and ministry. With a strong background in pharmaceutical operations, sales leadership, and healthcare management, he is passionate about building people, transforming systems, and promoting total wellness. He is also actively involved in innovative wellness and community-centered health initiatives aimed at improving lives across generations. As a pastor and mentor, he is known for impactful teaching, visionary leadership, and a deep commitment to spiritual growth, human development, and societal transformation. Pharmacist Obindo Oladele David represents excellence, service, innovation, and kingdom leadership, dedicated to healing lives, empowering people, and inspiring purpose. Please welcome my dear brother and a member of the Link family, Pharmacist Dele Obindo. Thank you very much. We are very happy to have you. And the floor is...
Thank you. All right. Am I being heard?
Yes, you are being heard. Please go ahead.
Oh, thank you so much for that introduction. And I really appreciate the opportunity to pass across or to share knowledge. In a very short while, we're going to be looking at, what multiple medicine in elderly, what are those, what is it exactly? Multiple medicine, how common are they? Then we're going to look at, we'll be promoting medication adherence actually through this discussion. Medication adherence is sticking to what is prescribed to you. Then we're also going to be recognizing what combination medicines are as a way of helping us not to take too many medicines. There are some drugs that are actually formulated together as one, 2 or 3 drugs formulated as one. We're going to be looking at it. And that will really help a lot of people, particularly when it comes to adherence to their medication. Then we will encourage asking your healthcare providers questions. We want to encourage that, particularly among the elderly. Then we're also going to be looking at how, appreciating caregivers, as well as medication reviews. How is it important? And we're going to be looking at some other things as we go on. Again, sorry for starting behind time. I had to I'm still at work. I just had to replace myself with another pharmacist. so that I can have time to share with you. And the other pharmacies didn't come on time, but we are here now. Now, let's look at the beauty of growing older. It's a blessing to grow old, and we should not dread it. We should not be afraid of it. Growing old should not be something dreadful. It's actually a privilege. Then it's also there's this wisdom and experience that growing old actually adds to the society. A lot of people are looking forward to leaning on the wisdom of the elderly. So going, as in moving around as an elderly person, is a privilege because a lot of people are looking forward to gleaning from our wealth of wisdom. So it's a beautiful thing to grow old. There is an opportunity to leave legacy to younger generation. Honestly speaking, growing old is a beautiful thing. Also, if you look at it scripturally speaking, the Bible actually talks well about elderly people. We can check the scriptures after now, Job 12:12, as well as Psalm 92, verse 14. Now, what is polypharmacy? Polypharmacy is the use of multiple medicines, often 5 different medicine plus, by one person. Is it appropriate? Is it inappropriate? It depends on the clinical need, actually. So we're going to be also seeing, in fact, let me say it immediately. It can be a lifesaver. Polypharmacy can be the reason why you will grow older, you will grow healthier, and be a better person. And also, it can also be the reason why some elderly people will visit the grave earlier than they supposed to. Now, let me define medication for the purpose of this meeting. A medication is any substance that is used to prevent, diagnose, relieve, control, and treat disease. Every medicine has both benefits as well as potential risk. In the pharmacy school, they used to tell us back then that a medicine is a poison that is actually can help or can actually harm. So that's why when you are making the poison available to people generally, we have to be extra careful. So medicines are processed mainly by 2 major organs in the body. They are processed by many other organs. There are a lot of things like the microbiota in the stomach and co. But the 2 major organs that are very vital in the processing of medications generally are the liver and kidneys. The liver and kidneys. Every medication we take, they are processed by these 2 major organs. Like I said, there are other organs that even some drugs are actually processed from the taline in the mouth and the rest. But I want to focus on these 2 major organs, liver and kidneys. You will know why I am doing that later. Now, why do older adults use more medicines? Why is it that it seems as if older people use more medicines? Number one, because of multiple chronic illnesses. We have the elderlies have used the body longer than the younger ones. The elders have been exposed to so many dangers, so many agents, so to say, for longer time, and so many other, terrible things for longer times than the younger ones. So this can be one of the major reasons why they use multiple medicine because of multiple chronic illnesses that is usually attributable to elderly people. There are age-related body changes. As we grow old, our body, our bodies actually change. You know, our system change. The different things in the body also will take a new toll hormones will change. Different things will change at certain times. Then the elderlies have lesser immunity. It's not supposed to always be so, but it's usually so. The immune system, the body immune system, natural body immune system of the elderlies are usually lower. And as a result, they are more exposed to diseases. They are more exposed to sicknesses. In fact, even flu, disease like common flu, the elders are usually more exposed to it. They are more prone to contracting it. Why? Because their immune system is usually down. And all the various medicines that we take in, they actually work differently, and that's why, because of the multiple chronic illnesses, multiple challenges, we have to treat the elderly, uh, treat the various issues in the body, the various illnesses. So, and for that purpose, more medications had to be taken. Now, polypharmacy is not always bad. And that's actually one of the things we need to know. It's not always bad, but the goal is actually right medicine, not fewer medicines. I have explained that as an elderly person, and the elderly is generally, some of us are already even gradually becoming elderly too. We need more medications to solve different things in the body. So if these medications are prescribed rightly, then it is not bad. If it is given at the right doses, it's not bad. If we take it at the right times, it's not bad. And if we take it, if we don't spoil the medicine by taking things that will damage those two major organs I mentioned earlier, the liver and the kidney, things like alcohol, things like cigarette smoking, is actually, it will weigh down on these two vital organs that are used to eliminate drugs from the body. So if you are not addicted to any of this, you're not addicted to alcohol, you're not addicted to cigarette smoking, you're not addicted to any, in fact, there's this thing a lot of people are addicted to now, and the sugar drink. So the more you take the sugar drink, the more you are weighing down the kidney and the liver. You are, hindering their ability to operate well. The more some of us are addicted to alcohol and the rest, we are, not helping ourselves. But the more we are free of all of this, the better we will be. Polypharmacy, like I said, is not always bad. And the goal is not that, let me see how I can take fewer medicines. No. The goal is the right medicine at the right time, right doses, taking, independent of alcohol and the rest, other agents that destroys the kidney and the liver. Now, we need to make this clear. Medicines are not Ashoebi. Because a friend of yours is taking a particular medicine and you are feeling the same pain. The body of every one of us is a complex body, and you cannot have, just like you don't have two identical people. Even identical twins are not totally identical. They may be identical physically. They have different DNAs. They have different issues. There are some codings that God has placed inside them that makes them different. So because Taye is taking a particular drug, does not mean Kende must take the drug, because Kende is feeling the same sickness, so to say, in quotes. Get checked and, let your medications be personalized. Let your medications be personalized. There's something we call idiosyncrasies, that is peculiar to different people. You can have headache, another person has headache. The headache of your own headache is caused by stress. Another person's headache is caused by high blood pressure. So if a doctor prescribes blood pressure medication because that other person has gone to the hospital to check up, it doesn't mean you are stressed, you begin to take amlodipine or begin to take, different drugs that are meant for hypertension. Clarify, we need to actually tell our parents, our elderlies, the elderly ones around us, medications are not Ashwebi, because Taye is taking it, doesn't mean Kende must take exactly the same thing. Two people came to my pharmacy recently, identical, elderly, and their medication, this thing, they were totally different. The medication list for the two of them, totally different. I don't want to go into the details because of our time. I encourage every elder, and let's do the same thing too, even as we are, entering the elderly levels. You can see some white hair is already in my own head too, so I'm looking elderly. I have crown of plenty white hair. So as you're approaching the elderly level, let everybody know that compliance to our medication can save our lives. It can help us to live longer and impact the younger ones better. Just like I said earlier, poor adherence can lead to stroke. I've seen that happening in my 24 years of practice as a pharmacist. Yes, 24 years. I think some people have actually had, they've they've had stroke. A lot of people have had heart attack and dead. Actually, a young guy planning to get married had an heart attack, or rather, and died a week before his wedding. So this thing is very serious, and let's take it as seriously as that. Poor adherence to medication has led to kidney failure. In fact, a lot of people have had their kidneys transplanted because of poor adherence to medication. And the poor adherence to medication, you can check it, is one of the uh, major reasons why we have main hospitalization. So all of these should be in our heart as we take care of our elders, because you can prevent that hospital admission. You can prevent it if you can help the elders take their drugs well. Now, there's a story I would like to briefly share. There's CEO of a company, actually, that, in fact, CEO of companies, the man is a big guy. I went to check him in the office after I left, a particular job I was doing long ago. And he told me, "Oh, Dele, please, this is the time I take my medicine." I was like, "Okay, sir. Give me a moment, just like 10, 15 minutes to take my medicine, because it's 12 o'clock exactly. I have to take some medicines." This man brought out a box, and inside that box has so many medicines. I could identify with some of them. I could identify some of them actually. Some of them are multivitamins, some are, different drugs. Antihypertensive drugs are there, anti-diabetic drugs were there. There are so many multi-nutritionals, multivitamins, and the guy was taking his time to take from one to the other to the other. This man, I'm not exaggerating, must have taken about 7 different medications that day, that time. I wanted to tell him, "Okay, all of these things you are taking, they are just repetition. You're just wasting your time. In fact, let me give you the breakdown of the medication from my own perspective, using my clinical experience." 25% of the drugs the man took are just, they are the right drugs he needed, prescribed by the doctor. 25% of the drugs were prescribed by the doctor. 50% of these drugs were prescribed by his friends. Later, we became close, actually, and I got to know this. The 5% of the drugs, they were something he saw on social media. They will put an advert on, see the elderly person popping in the drugs and acting strong, not knowing that this is just movie. He's not an elderly man cutting grass and mowing this thing and working hard because he popped some. This man went and bought some of those medications. Then some of the medications are basically for sleep and sexual performance. 20%, sincerely, of those medications in his box, they were basically for sleep, medications that enhances sleep and sexual performance. I can confidently say that out of all the drugs that man took that day, a lot of the multivitamins were just wasted because he was repeating some of the major things that he would have gotten from one multi nutraceuticals, just one. But this guy was just using everything. All the man needed from that box, they were 30% of what he used. The rest of the 70% will end up weighing down on his kidney and his liver. Those major organs for elimination of drugs and for balance in the body, we call it homeostasis. By the time the whole thing enters his, and he felt he's being a big man. He didn't know he's actually hastening his growing older, excuse me. Now, let's see the lessons from this story. Number one, avoid self-medication. Don't do Ashwebi with medication. Don't say because my friend said I should use it, it worked for him, it will work for you. No, man is a complex being. And medications like we defined earlier, they are also very complex. They have their good side and bad side, and they can actually harm you. Don't patronize medications because friends are encouraging you to take it. Don't take medicine because you saw it on social media. Social media is not your clinic. Please know that now and know life. Know that now and know liberty. Social media can mislead. They will sugarcoat the thing, but honestly speaking, it might not be something that is necessary for the elderly. Don't do it. Let your medications come from your clinicians. It's very important you talk to your doctor before taking anything or before adding anything to what you are taking already. Unnecessary medicines, they increase interaction and side effect risk. They, apart from weighing down on the kidney and the liver, they actually increase interactions between all the medicines you are taking. Like I said earlier, your liver modifies the medicines by way of eliminating it from the body to attach some group, to it, some moieties to the drug, change the structure of the drug, or attach something to it in order to make it either more soluble or more amenable to transplanting or removing it from the system, even to the outside, so to say, through urine or through defecation. Then your kidney remove the medicine. So the liver modifies the medicine, your kidney removes them from the body. The truth of the matter is, unnecessary medicine, like I said earlier, can kill the liver, impair the function of the liver and the kidney. And when that happens, you will see that's when you will now see yourself taking more drugs in order to improve the activity of the liver and the kidney. And when you take more drug, there's the risk of side effect of the more drug. There are interactions between drugs and drugs, that could actually lead to early grave. This sum total is that you look even older than your age when you take too much of medicine or when you make so many people be your prescribers. You have one body. The expectation of God from you is to take care of the body so that it can use you effectively until you have finished your assignment here on earth. Now, let's quickly look I tag this, ask your healthcare team, ask them questions. Ask them why you are taking the medications you are taking. Ask the physician of your parent or the elderly why your father is taking which medication. Ask questions. Gone are the days when medical practice is mystified. They make it in fact, the reason why behind that was not so that doctors would be feeling big. No, it was so that people will not be abusing medication. Individuals will not become doctors to their friends. That's why they were mystifying it, that time. Ask if your doses can be reduced based on the checkup you have done. Go for checkups regularly. So ask them if your doses can be reduced based on the result of the checkups. Then ask this important question: is there a combination tablet that combines 2 or 3 of these my medications so that I can comply more easily? You can do that. A lot of lives have been saved by combination tablets. Single tablets having several different components that you would have taken differently, like amlodipine. You are taking amlodipine, you are taking losartan, you are taking. There are medications that have hydrochlorothiazide and losartan and amlodipine in one tablet. So instead of taking 3 tablets, you are taking one tablet. Ask your health care provider, your doctors, your pharmacists. Then ask them if any of your medicines can be stopped from time to time. So the fulcrum where all of this is actually hanging is regular checkups, regular visitation to your medical team or your healthcare providers, your doctors. See them often. Do checkup and show them the result that you can either remove one drug or you can take a combination drug so that instead of taking 7 drugs, you are taking 3 in 1, then you are taking 4 others. Then let me also say this. Many blood pressure and diabetes medicines, like the one I just gave the example of, they come in combined doses, combined uh, drugs. They combine them in one, so it makes it easier for you to take. I've seen someone taking almost 7 drugs, 8 drugs before, now taking just 2 different tablets. Yet he's still taking the 8 drugs in the 2 tablets. So it becomes easier for them to actually comply to their dosage regimen better. So as parents, or rather as children of these elderlies, you can also ask the question on behalf of your parents. It doesn't have to be them always asking. You can ask on behalf of your parents. Then you can encourage the visitation. You can even go to see the doctor with your elders, the elderlies around you. See them. Feel free to talk to your doctor. Feel free to share with your pharmacist. Feel free to talk to your healthcare providers. Now, there is a need at a certain time, if you can afford it, to get caregivers that will be helping the elderlies around us to take their medicines rightly. Like I told you, the CEO brought a box, but I would have been more impressed if that CEO had somebody coming in and saying, sir, it is time for your so medication. I would have been more impressed. In fact, I would, I would have asked questions easily with the care, from the caregiver. Why is he taking 2 multivitamins that are essentially the same? The only difference is just one component that you can get, from maybe food. You can get it from a particular type of fruit instead of here. So there's a need to have a caregiver. It's not too expensive. They are not so expensive and they are available around. They will help you to organize your medicines. They will help you to set reminders. They will help you to attend your clinic at the right time. If you are far away from your parents, you can arrange to get a caregiver for them. They will help you to watch out for the side effects of these drugs because they are so trained. So when the side effect comes up, it will not add to the anxiety of the elder because they know already, knowledge, they say, is power. Knowledge can give you peace of mind. So they know what the side effects are. So when it's coming up, they know what to do, to avoid or to attenuate or to reduce it. Then they encourage medication reviews. Your caregiver or the caregivers around our elders can encourage medication. They will be the one to tell you, please talk to doctor. I don't think you need this one and this one. This one is causing so much side effects. Let the doctor know that you can change it. Now, I'm trying to wrap up now so that we can give room for questions. I want to give practical tips for everybody, whether you have caregivers or you don't have caregivers yet. Keep a medication list. Have a list of the drugs you are using. A list you can actually share with people. A list you can share with your healthcare givers. A list you can share with your family members. This is the list of drugs I'm using. And that can help them to quickly trace if there's any issue that needed to be, worked on. Because they have your medication list, they know where to begin the investigation from. So it's good to have your medication list. Then please use one pharmacy when possible. The role of many pharmacists is to make money. That's actually one of the guiding principles of many pharmacists. If they don't have a particular drug, the drug that you have been collecting from your pharmacy outlet before, and you are in another pharmacy outlet, they will give you another one, the one they have, because they want to sell. I used to tell people in our own pharmacy, Troy Health Pharmacy in Ibadan here, I tell them, it's not about medications though. We need to let the people know that it's not all about selling drugs. It is about caring for the people. And I'm serious about that. I would make somebody my staff of the month that cares for 70 people than somebody that sells 70 million. Seriously. I'd rather make someone that has a lot of people trusting him. I'm talking about the pharmacists working under me. I'd rather give kudos to the person that is caring for more people than somebody that is selling more medication. In fact, one of the criteria of becoming the staff of the month in our own place is the number of people, number of impact you are making, not the money you are bringing into the system. Money is important, but that's not the key thing. So, but if you can maintain one pharmacy, maintain one pharmacy. If they don't have the drug you are using, let them buy it. That's actually one of the reasons why I tell people, before your drugs will finish, go to your pharmacy. Your pharmacy will know which pharmacy has what drugs. They have more network than you. So don't be running from one pharmacy to another pharmacy to another. It doesn't make sense. Some people say we are trying to compare prices. There's a Yoruba saying, "Ẹni tó bá ń wá fà, ó ń wó fò náà." So please focus on getting, if you can use one pharmacy to be fantastic. Except when maybe you have two locations and your pharmacy, you can keep two pharmacies. The fewer, the better. Then bring all your medicines review. All your medicine, bring it for review from time to time to your pharmacist, and to your medical doctor. take it to your doctor. Let your doctor, look through. Your pharmacist can even do a suggestion to your doctor, might not be necessary again because of this and this and this. Then take it to your doctor. He will look at it. If he's okay with it, fantastic. You have actually succeeded in reducing people that you include in part of that.
Apologies. The network is not very good where it is.
Oh, am I being heard?
We can hear you again now.
Okay, okay. Network is actually not too fine here. So the review should include the herbs you are taking. Take it to your doctor. Take it to your family. Don't take herbs. Please let me know the agbo that you are taking. Let me know the herbal medicines you are taking. I can review it better than you. I know what the harm some of these agbo can do because I know what is in them. So don't hide your herbs and your supplements from your doctor. Finally, God heals and he also works through healthcare professionals. God heals and he heals also through healthcare professionals. Matthew was a physician and a solid disciple of Christ. So we have different kinds of people, believers. I am a Christian and I'm a pharmacist. I make money through selling drugs, and I pray for people to get healed. And honestly speaking, a lot of people get healed through my prayers, and I'm happy about it. So faith and wise stewardship, they go together. Honestly, I would want all the others in our midst to say that faith and wise stewardship go together. You need to apply faith, then please be a wise steward of what God has given you. Your body is a gift from God, and it's a gift that God will ask you about, how you are using it. Are you using your bodies well, or are you just abusing the body? Now, a take-home message for all our elders before we'll entertain questions. I have said this earlier that medications are complex, human bodies are complex. Medications have their good side and the bad, the risky side, and that's why you need to be careful how you bring it to your body. And when you bring these things in, what you are doing in essence is taking care of what God has given you. Your body is God's gift, is not to be abused. So the healthiest elderly person is not the one taking the highest number of medications. Oh, no. The healthiest elderly person around us are the ones taking the right medicines for the right reasons under the right supervision. The healthiest elders are the ones that are taking the right medicines for the right reasons under the right supervision. Outside of that, no matter how plenty, how rich, how influential you are, if you are taking multiple medicines, that is not guided by healthcare professionals, your doctors, honestly speaking, you are harming the body more than helping your body. All right, at this point, I would like to say thank you for listening. Do we have any question before we call it a day today? So I
Thank
throw it
you.
back to Raising Child. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Pastor Dele. Um, we'll just give you a little break to drink some water. We'll take
All
the
right.
introduction to the Link family. And right after that, we'll come back and have some questions with you. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Over to you, Pastor Sukomi.
Wow. Let's appreciate our dear brother for that time of instruction and of learning. Let's throw in all kinds of emoji to say thank you. Thank you for the time and for the knowledge shared. I'm just going to be doing introduction of the link family, and this is important just so we know what we stand for, what we do, and you can also consider to be a part of it if you are not already. The Link Family is an amazing online group which is open to people from the ages of 16 and above. And the aim or the goal, our objective is to help ourselves to healing and building healthy and healthier relationships. And by relationship, it's not limited to just the married or even the singles, even everything that is in transition between the two. You would find people of like minds, people of like passion, who would bring different perspective to discussion that will be a blessing to you in so many ways. So we have people from all tribes, nations, race, religion. However, our guiding principles are as we find in Bible, in biblical principles. And personally, I can say to us that I have been profoundly blessed by being part of this group. One very clear understanding is that God has not made us to live by ourselves. He has created us to live among people, to help people, to be helped by people. I think it's Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 4, that says that to him that is joined to all the living, there is hope. For a living dog is better than a dead lion. You might be strong, but if you are not with people, Bible says two are better than one. And so this is what the Link family does for you, help you to make that link, that connection to what would help you. In the past, we've had series of meetings on relationships, on parenting, on blended families, fertility, and now we're having this one on aging and the elderly. And it has been really, really, really very instructive and insightful since it started. What we're having right now, and even our past meetings that I alluded to earlier, you can find them on YouTube. I'm going to drop the YouTube link. Of course, the YouTube handle is the Praising Child, the Mythopoeia Praising Child, and you can always go there to relive the experience. Either you're part of it or you miss a part of it or you were not even there at all. You can always go back on YouTube to rewatch what has been put there. Normally, we have our meetings on Fridays. We do meet to greet, meet to pray. When we meet to greet, we do we talk about about individuals in the Bible and taking nuggets of life from their lives. And I tell you, that has been so much of a blessing for me. About this time, because of this age and the elderly series we're having, aging and the elderly series we're having, we only meet last Friday of the month to pray and to pray together. So if the Lord would, if you know somebody and if the Lord is stirring your hearts to be a part of the WhatsApp group where you can have up-to-date of what we do daily. In fact, every day there is something going on in the chat room. You need to be there. Sometimes I can't even catch up with the pace of what people are dropping in there, and they are always very insightful. So if you want to be a part of that, you want to be in the chat room and see what is going on there and learn also from there. Here also will be the link for you to join, and you'll be admitted in. And that will be, and I should say that for some of us who will be asking that, oh, when did this start? Was it something new? This has started since 2020. And by the convener, my dear sister and friend, Dr. Temitope Ayedun, is the one who the Lord has put this vision in our hearts and had brought some of us also on board to be part of the day-to-day running of the Link family. Thank you so very much. Please, at the point towards the end, we're going to crave your indulgence to please put on your camera, because we're going to have a group photograph, and just put up your best smile. Somebody will take the photograph, and that would be appreciated. And finally, I would say that please, if you have questions, we are now at the point where we're going to be taking questions. If you would want to put it in the chat room, that is okay. And if you want to unmute and ask your question, that would also be okay. Thank you so very much. I would yield back to the praising child.
Thank you so much for that, Pastor Sukomi. Big thank you to our speaker for today. That's been an amazing session. And I'll just add you on here so that everyone can begin to ask their questions. So you've said something which is quite interesting, that polypharmacy in itself is not a bad thing, but it's about taking the right medication for the right reasons. And that's a very interesting angle to look at it. I have met like 80-year-olds, people in their mid-80s that are not on any medication. And I almost feel a twinge of envy sometimes that, oh my God, you're doing so well. It is so rare to see someone that is not on any medication. But of course, that is also a pointer to the kind of lifestyle that they usually live. They're usually quite fit people. Most of the time, they're usually into herbs. And I am a strong believer that if we make food our medicine, we will not need to make medicines our food. So I'm a strong believer in that if we do things early, we might not end up being on medication. However, due to genetics and other reasons, life stresses, different people are on medications for different reasons across their lives. And it's important that, one, as you've said, they should know what they are taking. And this is something that should probably be re-emphasized about people knowing what they're taking. So I saw a patient, I live and work in the UK, and I saw a patient, a Nigerian patient, who came in with her daughter. And I said, Mama, what are you taking? She said, I don't know the name. And I had to say, Mama, you have to know what you're taking. But I know that is a common thing, because I think sometimes in the culture we're brought up in, people don't question what their healthcare providers give them. They just believe that once their healthcare provider gives them something, it must be good, it must be useful, it must be helpful, and they don't question anything. They just take the medication and start taking it. They don't even know the name. And that is such a huge risk. So I had to tell her that you have to know what you are taking. You have to know the name of what you're taking, because the risk is that somebody else is going to give you the exact same medicine, and then you are going to be taking a double dose, and that can cause trouble for you. And for instance, it can be a completely different color, because there are different brands of the same kind of medicine. So it can be two different medicines that are exactly the same but look different, and you'll be taking a double dose. So that must be emphasized. Please know the names of your medicines. Please write it down somewhere. Write down what you're taking and write down the dose of what you're taking. I don't know how many times I've had this conversation with my parents. But anyway, let me leave their matter. But yeah, so this is me reiterating that definitely you have to know what you're taking. It's a huge risk. Don't take that risk. Don't take it. And I was laughing to myself when you said people should get people that will be helping them with looking after their medication. That's the climate where you are. People are struggling to eat. They don't need an extra person that they'll be paying salary. But yeah, if you can afford it, why not? Yeah, if you're in that bracket, yeah, you're in the million, you're a millionaire. You can afford it. That's not an issue. But it should be definitely somebody that cares about you and not someone who is going to poison you. So make sure that there is trust. Trust with your caregivers, trust with your healthcare professionals. So you should have a doctor that you trust, you should have a pharmacist that you trust. If for any reason you don't trust them, change them. It's so important because there are people that are of dubious character. Unfortunately, there are doctors that liaise with pharmacies and make sure it is a particular medicine that they're being sold. There are pharmacies that just make sure they sell their most expensive medication just because they're trying to get more income. And I remember my mom going to a pharmacy and saying, "No, that's not the one I want. Don't you have a cheaper one?" And many times they would then bring out the cheaper medication and then give it to you, which many times does the same thing. It just doesn't have a trade name attached to it. So I think that's very important. Um, so I want you to speak to these things I've just said. And the other thing I want to mention is about allergies. I want you to talk about allergies and how important it is for people to know their allergy history.
All right. Yeah, thank you so much for. I was laughing when you were talking about daddy and mommy because I know that I know how our parents, used to what they used to do actually, particularly when it has to do with medication and co. So I could identify with what mommy and daddy were doing too. So allergy. In fact, there's something um I omitted, when we're talking, and that's the dangers of polypharmacy, particularly the ones that are not supervised. Okay, I think I mentioned it. Drug
Yes.
interactions, side
Yes.
effects, conflicting. Uh-huh. There can be some falling and fractures actually among the elderly. They can fall down, fracture their. For one of the major concerns with the elderly is falling and fractures. Very important. Then confusion and memory problem. This polypharmacy can lead to that too. Then many hospital admissions, I mentioned that kidney and liver damage too can actually happen. So talking about allergies, like I said, the elderly have lower immunity. It does not necessarily have to be so. Like my sister said earlier, honestly speaking, somebody that is actually taking good care, eating right, taking good multivitamins, and taking multi-nutritionals that are fantastic, meant for you, supervised by a doctor or a good healthcare provider, you don't necessarily have to have depressed immunity at all. Your immunity can be sharp and fine. But allergies are things that are triggered by, pollens. There are a lot of things that triggers, allergies around. A lot of times we complain of flu, we complain of, sneezing and coughing. It happens a lot among the elderly, and the reason is actually because many elderly people have depressed immunity. There are ways of dealing with this without even having to go to taking orthodox medicine. There are a lot of ways you can deal with it. One of the ways is resting well. Another one is taking enough water. Another one is taking good herbs that actually boost your immunity and it will help you to fight them. The bulk of the allergies we have are usually, the bulk of them are viral. and they are self-subsistent, as in they have a set time to live and die, but they would have caused this before dying, a lot of damage before dying. So what we're saying is, please take good care of yourself, rest well, take good water, take water well and at the right time, not when you are going to bed in the night, but before you will go to bed at night, take enough water. Allergies even happening shows that you are living, you are alive. People that are dead don't have allergies, so please, with allergies, then it can easily spread. It's contagious actually, so you need to actually learn this and see how you can live right despite the allergic condition. That is if it has come. You can prevent it from coming by taking good, care of yourself, resting well, take enough rest and take enough water. Take enough vitamin C, high dose vitamin C, take fruits and fibers. Those things help to boost your immunity so that, even when you're exposed to the pollens that could cause allergy, exposed to the grass that could cause allergy, the mosquito bites, or bites from other animals that could, trigger allergy, you're already standing gidigba against it. So when the thing happens, the allergy will be short-lived and you will see yourself, overcoming it on time. Let me quickly say this. The symptoms that, okay, before,
Pharmacist,
there are symptoms that should,
Pharmacist Dele, I think you might have got me wrong. I was actually
okay.
talking specifically about drug allergies. It seems you've now deviated somewhere into viral illnesses, which is a different
Oh,
part.
okay.
I was talking mainly about drug allergies.
Okay, sorry. I thought you were talking
Yes.
about allergies
No,
generally
not that type.
among the
Not the
elderly.
type that needs antihistamine
Oh,
and
okay.
and ginger and garlic. Not that one. Not that one.
Yeah, that one. Okay. Yeah, drug allergies. Yes, that's actually um, allergies that is happening to you sequel to drug usage, sequel to medications. And in fact, in line with what we have been talking about, when you take too much of, if you take polypharmacy plenty of time, you are actually liable to having drug allergies. This can be managed. And the best way to handling it is consulting your healthcare provider. They know exactly what can be taken, in order to stop the allergy, whether to stop the drug that you are using already or to tell you to use another drug that can actually counter the allergy.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Another one example is okay. I want to cite an example of an allergy. When you feel sleepy after taking an antihistamine, um, is not an allergy. Because some people will say, oh, I'm having an allergy, even taking antihistamine. No, when you take an antihistamine, you are bound to feel sleepy. That's not an allergic reaction. Developing itching hives and swelling after taking an antibiotics may be a drug allergy. When you have itches and the rashes on your body, sequel to taking an antibiotics, it's an allergic reaction. See your doctor and let him assess it. He will tell you whether to continue taking the drug or to stop it, because some allergies can be overlooked, if the benefits of the drug outweighs the allergies. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. So I see you've mentioned something about,
I think I'll stop there.
thank you. I think you've mentioned something about the elderly being prone to falls, which is a very
Yes.
important point. And many times it's due to the fact that they're on a lot of medication. And sometimes this is also the reason why it's important to probably invest in something like a blood pressure monitor. And if you have issues like diabetes, it's good to invest in something like a glucose monitor as well, so that you can monitor your blood sugar when things happen like that, or routinely, maybe like once a week. I think a lot of the issues with the polypharmacy, especially with the multivitamins, is that there is a lot of health anxiety and people want to live long. So they say, this one is good, they take it. That one is good, they take it. This one is good, it does this, they take it. And they don't understand that taking all these things together can have a huge effect on their body and on their metabolism. And it's always best to be natural. And most people that eat very well, a varied diet, fruits, vegetables, a balanced diet, most of the time they are not lacking in things except the ones that are due to age, which are specifically things like calcium, vitamin D, and then they should also eat protein as well. And we discussed that in the last session about eating protein, because sometimes elderly people, they say, it's the young one that should eat the egg and all of that. They have already grown old. They don't need it anymore. But their body also needs protein to maintain their muscle mass as well. And if you take a medication and you start feeling dizzy almost immediately after you take the medication, Yoruba people will say the witch cried yesterday, the child died this morning. Who killed the child is the witch. So it is the medication you took. So do not take that medication again so that you don't test it. Stop that one and contact your healthcare provider.
That's it.
Don't wait till you fall, till you actually now fall before and break something, which is always usually catastrophic. Don't wait till then. If you've taken something, it's making you feel dizzy, there's probably an issue. If you have a blood pressure machine, you might want to check your blood pressure at that point. And I always advocate people to check their blood pressure maybe once a week, but if you feel a bit unwell, check it again. And I say people above 40, definitely invest in a blood pressure machine, better than investing in a television any day. So yeah, I don't know whether you have anything to say to that. Anybody have questions? So that it's just not me and our pharmacists that are just discussing. If you have any questions, please ask your questions. But it's definitely something I'm very animated about here where I live, because there's free healthcare and people with specific ailments have free medication. Some people are like on 17 different medication. So polypharmacy can actually make people well. It can make people moody. It can make them feel low, because they say, I counted 12 medication. I have to take that one in the morning. I have another 5 to take in the night. And it makes them feel very low. That why are they taking so many medications? But it's because many times they need it. Because I am actually even talking about the ones that are prescribed, not even the ones that are not prescribed. Yeah, so these are things that are important. There's also something you highlighted when you spoke, and that was about monitoring change, about asking that can medication be reduced. So I wanted to say something about that, because many times as people get older, they lose weight. Sometimes they shrink because they lose bone mass as well. Or maybe they do a weight loss journey actually and decide to lose weight. Maybe they were overweight before. And some people don't understand that if you lose 10 kilograms of your weight, your blood pressure drops by 10 points. So if you were on blood pressure medication before, you are likely to start needing less of it as time goes on. So definitely try and monitor yourself. Listen to your body. If you've lived a long life, you already know how things feel, how your body feels, how your bones feel. Someone called me, she said, I took this medication and I don't feel well. I said, how did you know it's this medication? She said, this is the only new medication I've taken. And in the last 3 days that I've taken this medication, I have not felt well. And that was just it. And you have to listen to the patient because they understand their body. And so we decided we would try an alternative. And now we are in the time of information. So it's not only about health professionals taking responsibility for you. You have to take responsibility for yourself. You have the internet. You can go on Google. You can Google the medications you are taking. You can Google the supplements you are taking and find out whether they're actually something you already need. You can even Google it and find out whether there is a natural alternative or a fruit or vegetable that is local to you that already contains what you're taking. And that way, it might reduce costs and reduce stress as well. Because not everything that is being peddled as a wonder drug is actually a wonder drug. The only things that are completely without side effects are greens and water. Even paracetamol in excess has side effects.
That's right.
The other thing I want
That's
to say is
right.
that people shouldn't get used to pain. So don't say, I'm in pain. I don't want to take painkillers. So some people come and meet me in the clinic and they say, oh, they've been in pain since yesterday. It's very bad. And I say, what have you taken? I say, I'm not taking anything. I remember and I say, this one is not rocket science now. If your body is paining you, you take paracetamol first. If that does not help, you add ibuprofen. If you take the two of them, it doesn't help. Get some low dose Coca-Cola more. If you have now tried all of them and you come and meet me, I understand. So when they do that, I will then say, take paracetamol 3 to 4 times a day. Of course, that depends on your weight, because if you're less than 50 kilograms, paracetamol adult dose 3 to 4 times a day is a bit too much for you. So that is also relative depending on your weight. So anyway, these are just a few things I wanted to add. I can see a hand up. Sister Sophie, let's hear your question. Are you there? We can't hear you.
Yes, I'm
Okay.
there. Good evening.
Yes.
Just trying to get this whatchamacallit to respond. Good evening, everybody. My question, or should I say it's a question, but it's an observation as well. No, first of all, I want us to talk a little bit more about this Google the medicine or Google the symptom, right? Because I have seen where that is the problem. We're dealing with someone who is literate. The person can read, the person can write, the person is intelligent, but the person doesn't have a lot of formal education. And so the person does not understand that it's not everything on the internet that is trustworthy. It's like the internet is like an open market. And even the person selling fake will tell you now original, but it's fake. But the person will tell you it's original, you know. Like we say where I come from, LFO, I didn't ask you, you know, that kind of thing. So the internet is like that. And so we have a lot of older people who existed, they were born before the television was invented. All of a sudden, they have a smartphone. And that creates a whole lot of problems because people who they don't know, they take advice from people they don't know. You understand? And then they create, we're not having to argue and talk and argue and explain and explain and explain, you know? So that's one angle of the Google it, you know, side. Then I've also, generally that side also, we're dealing with someone who is, or dealing with older people who might not have a lot of education or might not have a lot of exposure. You understand? And so there's still a lot of old wives' tales, a lot of tested and trusted. We used grape water in 1960. We used mentholatum in 1972. You know, those kinds of things. Things that science education has moved forward from some of those things, right? So can you just, I don't know if you can speak a little bit about that. What maybe you have older people that are listening to this, or those of us who have older people that we're trying to love them through the season of life they are in right now. Thank you.
All right. Yes, let me just, am I being heard? My
Yes, you're being
network
heard.
is somehow.
Yes, we can hear you.
Let me
Loud and
quickly
clear.
say, that's a beautiful observation. But I can say over and over that it's still better for them to have the knowledge of what they are taking, you know, than not having the knowledge at all. I'm talking about the Google thing now. It's still better for them to have an idea of what they are taking into themselves. I know that can actually scare them too. It can be scary when they read these. And the truth is, on the internet, there are a lot of junks, really, and true saying and negative saying. And that's why we said at the beginning, whatever you see on the internet, please still come and review it with your doctor or your healthcare providers. Don't run for the purpose of, particularly with what we just heard now, every elderly in our midst and people that have elders around them. Let's tell them, don't take action on the information you have heard, on your own without reviewing it with your healthcare providers. That should be sounded into the hearing of everybody, all the elders around us, and the people that have elders around them. You cannot afford to leap at every information you see on Google, on social media generally, but it's still nice for them to have the information. They can now bring the information for a proper review with their doctors and their healthcare professionals generally. So that's about that. Then about the people that have, they they were born in the days where we have box TV and now they have a phone. On a serious note, we need to keep sounding it. We need to keep sending that message across to them. Not everything that you hear on the internet is correct. There's a portion of the scripture I love so much. It says, faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. So as in, hearing is a continuous process. It's a process. It's not something that the same thing, lies also comes also by hearing. And until they hear, the opposite of faith is fear.
Yeah.
When they keep hearing the lies, it will instill fear into them. It comes also by hearing. So, but we need to encourage our people, whatever you hear, bring it for review. Talk to your doctor about it. Don't take an action based on what you see on the internet. In fact, we need to get the examples of the negative examples of people taking information from the internet and what happens thereafter. So we need to get them, to know that. That's my contribution to that.
Thank you so much for that. That's a great answer. If you don't mind me adding to that, um, I think the internet is not going anywhere anytime soon. We are even adding to the internet. We are adding AI to the internet now. So we all have to be adapting. That's the thing. That's the new word. As in we, the older people, the younger people, we have to keep adapting because even the world we live in is going to be a different one in the world of our children. And you are definitely right. Google to the trained mind and Google to the untrained mind are completely different.
Right.
So some people would throw in their symptoms into the internet and they have a headache and they just come up straight with a brain tumor. And they come and meet you and then all they have is a viral illness. And then you have to explain to them that headache is a non-specific symptom. You can have headache if you're hungry. You can have headache with so many, 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 many things. And it's not definitely what you're thinking about. And then you're going to have to reassure them. But for example, my mom, if she gets a medication, would read the leaflets. If it's a medication that does not have a leaflet, she will Google it, see what it does, see the side effects. I think that is a very brilliant use of the internet. And I think that that should definitely be encouraged. So before she's asking me about it, she already knows whether she wants to take it or she doesn't want to take it because she's seen what it's doing and she wants to know whether. And I always tell people when they say, does it have side effects? I say, almost all medication have side effects. We are giving you because the benefits outweigh the risk, which is usually the reason
Mm-hmm.
why a medication. I also want to quickly mention about antibiotics. I think in some climes, antibiotic use is a bit too much, and that definitely causes issues. It causes issues with the bowels. It causes issues with antibiotic resistance, and that needs to be sounded. We have bodies that technically are meant to heal themselves. So sometimes we just need to give it a little time. If you try first day, second day, and things are not improving, and it does not look like something that
what I ask you to do?
I think we have to mute somebody. Sorry about that. Okay. Yes. So some things are viral illnesses. Your body is going to deal with it. I'm just trying to say that don't pick up antibiotics at the slightest whim. So some people have a bit of diarrhea because they've eaten something strange and your body is trying to get rid of it. And then the next thing, you're already picking flagyl just because that's your default mode. No, don't do that. Whether you're young or you're old, don't do that. Give your body some chance to get rid of what is on there. Of course, there has to be some baseline to it. So you cannot be stooling, having diarrhea, and you are not eating anything or you are not drinking. Okay, so things like coconut water, Gary water, you should be definitely staying rehydrated. Dry foods, biscuits, bread, you should be eating that. But don't reach for medication at the slightest whim unless there are other things involved, like a fever, abdominal pain, things like that, and seek advice first. I'll let Pastor Kayode and will ask his question. Uncle K, let's hear you. You can unmute yourself, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate this Praising Child's group. God bless you. My own is a comment and maybe an observation and maybe a way out, suggestions, expecting suggestions from people. One, there was a time I went to one of the tertiary hospitals in Nigeria. I won't mention the name. They gave me some medication. Some prescription were given to me. I went to the pharmacy at the same hospital. I just read it. I noted that there are 3 prescriptions. So when I passed the thing on and they were giving my medication, they gave me 4 instead of 3. So I just asked the pharmacist, is this mine? He said, yes. I said, no, please check again. What I saw when I brought my prescription sheet was 3, not 4 medicine. Now went to and said, well, I'm sorry. Apparently they will have given somebody else's medicine to go and use. Okay, so I don't know how we can, if there's any way we can enlighten ourselves on how to deal with issues like that. Then the other one is for the elderly among us, when we should guide them, we should monitor them properly. There are instances where an elderly has a prescription, maybe 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon with lunch or in the evening. He has about 3 of them to take with the lunch. When he's taking the lunch, you can even forget that he has even taken the medication and we take it twice. So how do we get around some of these things? That's maybe monitoring how the extent and what monitoring can we do so that, because this borders on forgetfulness.
Yes.
And I know a man who he was in his 80s then. The children they gave him some medication from the hospital. The man that day, the day he forgot, the following day he decided to take all the ones he forgot the previous day, added it. So that's why I said monitoring, and how do we, any suggestion on how to monitor and how to help or assist our elderly? Thank you.
Well, let me say the beautiful observation, sir. I really appreciate that. What I will say is that we need to shine our eyes, particularly when we go to such institutions, health institutions, even pharmacy. I love the way you noticed you and giving you something contrary to what was written would be difficult. We need to encourage, just like we said during the others, discuss with your doctors, your healthcare, talk about the medications even before leaving his office or her office. If you have done that, nobody can give you something contrary to what you have spoken about. I remember when we were in the university, of assimilating things we have read over and over, you talk about it, it becomes part of you. So by the time you are leaving the doctor's, medication is part of you already. So it's very important we do that. We need to close monitor, speaking on things a lot. In fact, one of the things of growing up, they get confused about some things, they forget some things. So when, as regards their medications, we need to let them know that, they should draw, but they talk to me if you are in the medical line, or talk to somebody, attach somebody to them that know about medications and know about drugs. Let them talk to people. Somebody came to my office, and the person came today incidentally to come and tell me thank you. He came to my office and said, pharmacist, I need antibiotics. You can't tell me you, but he's a young guy.
Oh dear, the network is wonky.
I know how I feel when I need. So I had to school him in what resistance.
No, you would have to look at this
Yeah.
because we're not hearing you.
Pastor Dele, we can't hear you. Hello, Pastor Dele, we can't hear you. I think it's your internet connection. Oh, he's had to go out. My apologies for that. I hope we heard a little bit about what he said. That it's very important that we are observant, because Pastor Kayode was talking about how he knew that he was prescribed 3 medication and he was given 4 different medications, and he questioned it. This is very important, very, very important. And so that you don't start taking medication that you don't need, or that medication that are meant for other people. So, for instance, human beings are fallible, even though sometimes they work with machines. So human beings can make errors with blood tests. They can make errors with diagnosis. They can make errors with medication. If you think something is unusual or something is not right, ask questions or ask for a second opinion. It's your body we're talking about. It's your life we're talking about. You have to be proactive about things like that. And regarding the elderly people taking medication and occasionally forgetting whether they've taken it or they've not taken it, sometimes, well, where I am, things can be arranged in something called a blister pack, which is like a plastic container in which medications are placed. And so the one for the morning is different from the one for the evening. And so when they are taking their medication, they take the one for the morning. And so if they are trying to remember that, did they take it, did they not take it? If they open the blister pack and they look at the morning, they will realize it's empty. Then they will know that I must have taken it. That's why it's empty. And then the one that is left to be the one for the evening. So sometimes that's the way it is arranged, and it can be arranged if they have it for 3 times a day or for twice a day. Those things can be purchased. They're usually plastic containers, and sometimes the pharmacies can also sort it out or sort out all your medication for you if you let them know, and they can arrange your medication so that in that way you don't forget. I take some medication and I realize that it's easier when the medication is already labeled Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so that when I'm taking it, I don't forget because I've already taken the one for Monday on Monday. So I already know that I've taken it. And I even if I forget, once I see that it's empty, I realize I must have taken it, even if I thought I had forgotten. So even younger people can forget, not to talk of older people sometimes. But there are ways around it. And some people can just do the old way and write on a sheet of paper or a sticky note. Once they've taken their medication, they just write it. I took my morning medication. That's all. And once they look at that paper, they remember that they took it. That's without any blister pack or arrangements. So it's just ways to try and help yourself. Just the way some people come into the clinic and they sometimes don't remember why they came, but they've come with a notepad on which they've written their complaints already. So they just bring out their notepad and they read out what they've written down, and then we can have a discussion about it. So these are things that can happen. And next week, we're talking about delirium and dementia, which sometimes can affect the elderly. That's another important discussion that we're going to have, and it's going to be taken by a neurologist. And that is one that we should also not miss. Well, thank you very much for that question. That's a very important question. Pastor Dele, are you still there? Are you? I think I saw you a minute ago.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
And I'm here.
Okay, all right.
I was trying to talk about someone that came to my office and to tell me thank you today for refusing to sell antibiotics. How can you come to a pharmacy and say, I need antibiotics? What for? You know, so I had to tell the person, we don't sell antibiotics, we sell solutions to your problem. What is the condition? You know, I'm happy because the guy came today to say, thank you, because I gave him vitamin C. You know, my dose vitamin C instead of antibiotics. You know, so we need to actually get the society to know that the dangers of just taking drugs anyhow. You know, and we need to keep hammering it until they hear us.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. And if we take any medication and they give us another medication, please remember to ask that, does this go well with the ones I am taking already? Because sometimes there's an interaction, like there's a particular antibiotic. If you're on statins, for instance, and you take that antibiotic, you can have more muscle pain. So sometimes I tell them to hold the statin and finish the antibiotic for a week. That antibiotic I'm talking about in particular is called clarithromycin, and it's to hold the statin, take the antibiotic, and after the 7 days of the antibiotic, they can restart the statins. And so that is useful, even though that is a short-term thing. And some people also don't know that they're supposed to take their cholesterol tablets at night, and then they have muscle pains and they don't know why. And they say nobody told them that they were supposed to take it at night. So please also ask that, what time should I take, or what is the best time to take this medication? Yes. So the internet can be a tool for good and it can be a tool for harm, but used wisely, it can be a great tool for good. Any final words from Pastor Dele? There are no other questions. Final words?
All right. Yes, I want to say thank you for the opportunity. Yes. Am I being heard?
Yes,
Network is so bad.
You have been heard. You have been heard. We can hear you loud.
Okay. Please let's take care of our elders, and let's watch, because every one of us, we are actually growing towards that height. All of us will become elders one day. You know, please take care. Let's take care of ourselves. Let's watch what we take into our body. It's very, very important. Drugs can harm, drugs can heal. So let's not take it with levity, and let's not do Ashwebi with medications. Very important. So thank you for today. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Pharmacist Obindo. We really appreciate you. Please show him some love. Thank you so much for staying with us till the end. Sorry we've overshot the time, but we did start a bit late. Thank you for staying with us. And big thank you to those that joined on the YouTube channel as well. If you've not subscribed, please do. It's a very useful place for different resources. So as I mentioned earlier, next week is another time, same Zoom link, 5 p.m. Please invite others, your friends, family, your elders. It is a very useful discussion we are having on here. So next week, we are talking delirium and dementia, commoner in the elderly, occasional in the younger ones, also a useful topic for everybody. Please join us. So as we end the session, thank you very much for joining us. We'll just take that photo. Pastor Sukomi, are you able to do the photo, or is Dr. Ijoma here? I saw her earlier, but I can't see her right now. Pastor Sukomi, are you able to take the photo? Photo. I don't know how to do it.
Yes, I can do it.
Okay.
As if everybody would just have
All
their
right. Okay.
including me.
All right. Please, let's have our glamorous photos on. Our glamorous videos on. You just want to take a group photo very briefly. Thank you. Thank you, Uncle.
All right, waiting for us to all have our cameras on and give us a face.
Give us a big smile.
Okay, is she here now? Oh, okay. I thought
no, that's fine. I'll say Jumoke. That's all right.
Okay, all right. I am going to take the photo.
I can see Romeo and Juliet. They're going to come for me.
Some of us are still not having a camera, not audio.
Okay. Camera, yes. You can take it. You can take it. I think those that are going to turn on their videos have turned it on.
Okay. All right. I think that is it. Is taking.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. We'll just say our motto together. Feel free to unmute yourself if you do not have noise in your background. I live in love.
I live in love.
I live in love.
I stay in peace.
I stay in
I stay in peace.
I shine my lights.
I shine my light.
I use my power.
I use my power.
So help me God.
God.
Amen. Thank you so much. See you next week.
Thank you.